I used to share on YouTube or Facebook, 1936, in Sydney, Australia, Mr. Jiddu Krishnamurti, the present civilization that cannot last. It has no intrinsic value. It's based solely on human greed and not human need. And when you look at life eternally, there truly will be work for everyone. And everything that you talk about and grope for in vain, like peace and global unity and peace and all that stuff, you'll finally attain when you look at life eternally, right? Well, because take into account a pathetic, aggressive person, okay, a person that's very aggressive and very pathetic because they want to leave their mark on the world. They want to be famous. They want to put, hey, that's my statue there. It's my statue. That's my portrait hanging in the hall of the mass murderers that owned their children and wrote it down on pieces of paper and made it a law. They're lawmakers, right? Okay, does everybody pray to the President of the United States for world peace so their children can live a heavenly life? Well, then why the fuck are you still doing what you're doing? Does everyone pray to Pope Leo? No, they pray to the guy whose life is represented in the Bible. They don't pray to Pope Leo. Pope Leo makes money off of the bullshit, right? Okay. That ball you just aced to the beast is worth more than your whole life, dude, right? So, yeah, in my life, I'm 60 years old, and my life has been extremely difficult because of pathetic people like, the sports memorabilia guy who pretends to be Jesus for Vatican City, right? Who would you rather get blunted with, Donald Trump or the Pope? Nobody. Who's your favorite Indian? Albert, whatever. What was his name? Albert Bell, right? No. They don't have Indians anymore. They PC'd them. They're their guardians. They used to be the Indians, right? Cleveland Indians. Remember that team? Back in the day when we were dumb, we're not dumb anymore. Sometimes we wish we was dumb again. Damn, and you go to bed and you get bombarded with Wi-Fi and you wake up and you wish you were. Last night's Wi-Fi dreams were stupid. Okay. They're tangible, but it's like, no, you guys got the nipples all wrong. I'm sure they don't look anything like that. That's just insane. The thighs, you got the legs wrong too. Okay. I hope you didn't mess with her head the same way you messed with mine. Well, you're the most brave and protecting, gorgeous man in the world. Well, that's why I hope you didn't mess with her head the same you messed with mine. Well, taste of honey is worse than none at all. In that case, I don't want no part. I was going to get up and say, no, I'm too old to be having dreams like that. I'm like, I'm not too old to be having dreams like that. But you people at White Sands and Fort Bliss, you're really too old to be fucking around with shit like that, man. It's time to get real and serious about your life. It's time to be somebody, that went on the Hajj with Muhammad, somebody of one of the 250 that went with David to get the women and the children back from the Philistines, Come back. We talked about this yesterday. Apparently it didn't set in. When you grow up, girl, you're still living. No more pigtails in your hair. No more silly looks with the childish stare. No more dolls for you to play. No more comments and the things you'll say. It's the gospel of Linda Creed. I guess so. Anybody else like Linda Creed? I like Linda Creed a lot, man. She wrote a lot of songs for a group called the Stylistics because she really loved the voice of their lead singer, a man named Russell Tompkins Jr. He's from Philadelphia, right? He was trained operatically in the school how to sing by his school teacher because she noticed what a wonderful, amazing voice that Mr. Tompkins had. Russell had this really amazing voice, and this teacher went out of her way to teach him, how to sing operatically at school. so people could enjoy his voice. I don't know if it's so much, to be a movie, you'll be a star. I think it's more just, this is something beautiful. Let's share it with the world. Right? There's a spark of magic in your eye. Candyland appears each time you smile. And aren't you glad she did? Aren't you glad the little lady put the effort in? But it wasn't like he wasn't already, they come that way naturally. Like I used to explain to my coaches, man, It's not my fault. My parents my mom could do Olympic swimming thing, and my dad was just one of the best jocks in those. It's not my fault, right? It's not my fault. Just genetically, it's like, what's the name of that? Simply Red, Nick Hucknall. I think you understand that you got it, I've been poisoned half to death by a bunch of jealous perverts at all the military installations nearby, while all the propaganda toolbag perverts sit and watch and don't do a damn thing to help. And it's like, yeah, and I'm Dwayne Rock Johnson from the Hercules movie. Yeah, you stand in my shadow. Well, the way my gut is, we're going to focus on eating a lot of vegetables and stuff this spring and summer. And we'll see how that cleans out. Maybe, hopefully they'll take off about 20 pounds. So, survive, stop, eliminate, abuse, recover. I fully intend on recovering when I'm, who's making love with your old lady? Why? When I'm, stuff. You guys really need to. I hope you didn't. I hope E. Martinez was not affected by my dreams at all, because I know how the shit works. Because that would really upset me. Because I like her and she's cute. She's spunky. She's cute. She seems, she's everybody's dumb as a box of rocks in philanthropy, right? And I like her. She's a cute kid. She does the little like Linda Dutcher over reminding me of Miriam at the when I was in my 40s at the Olay thing, stuff. And oh my gosh. And I was not out of place for having a crush on that young lady who was in her 20s when I was in my 40s. Because I went to the goddamn basketball game at NSU, and there was a guy in his 60s with a girl in her just out of her teens that were dating. So I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay, all you Woody Allens out there, motherfuckers, they piss me off, man. Like, y'all think you funny as shit. Next time with your CGI, make sure you get the nipples right. That really pisses me off, right? Like, whoa, wow. I was like, it was, we were babysitting, and then all of a sudden things got, what the hell? I was babysitting here. I was being appropriate. There was another child involved. I don't know where it came from, but, we're dealing with people at White Sands and Fort Bliss, guys. We're dealing with the people that give us mass propaganda and are trying to find their own unique way to keep up with population control through surplus population with the Chinese and the Russians. Okay. They all have their different modus operandi to manage the populace and mass murder off the undesirables. They've been doing this for a long fucking time. George from the Navy at the party. All these Mexicans. Most of them don't deserve to be parents. They're not fit to be parents. So when Jesus was crucified, you get to play God, right? According to the Vatican. You want to go get blunted with the Pope and Trump at the same time? They decide who lives or dies. Yeah. They're the Knights in White Satin orchestrators, right? They're the London Philharmonic fucking orchestra there, huh? Or red is black and yellow white there, huh? And they decide what is right and what is an illusion. Money's still rare. We're real. We're going to declare war to control it with petroleum products and give you all a phone so you'll know exactly how to get your fentanyl, where to get your fentanyl, when to buy your fentanyl, when to die from your fentanyl. You don't want to live. You want to die. We're doing monologue from Druids. Klaus von Sydow was in that movie. He also played Jesus. Okay. He made me watch that. I was like, man, that's like 2 hours and something we ain't going to get back of our lives. That movie was terrible. If you want to live, if you want to die, his lightning bolts come out of his ass scene, right? You're like, this movie sucked. We kept waiting for it to get better. It's like, Klaus von Sylow's in this, man. It should be a better movie. Jesus is in this movie, right? Klaus von Sydow, man. Klaus von Sydow. And so, like, it's funny. It was a terrible movie. It was Christopher Lambert, from Highlands. It was called Druids. Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, it was about as bad as that Norseman movie with Nicole Kidman. Yeah, it was really bad. You're like, what's going on here? Bills. Oh, bills. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, we'll be a lawmaker who makes people appeal women sexually vulnerable so we can get what we want from them because money's real and we can what they want with them. And so head and neck, right? It doesn't seem to be any different of the woman, because Ghislaine Maxwell and and they said that stuff. They have all that gossip about Oprah with the school in South Africa, so it don't seem to make difference if a man or a woman in charge of When I was using pornography to keep my prostate alive, they had a woman sitting there making the other woman sniff her farts and dominating her sexually, and they were filming it. I was like, this is like animals. This is horrible. Who recommended this? Well, I recommend that you be eliminated from the NASA program immediately, LY. You can't even get any porn that has like a boyfriend-girlfriend experience. This rampant parunch from White Sands sucks. Just so y'all know, you suck. Okay. That's why I just have my ex-wife talk me through it. And ask me questions. Why didn't you do this? Because that was manipulating. That was wrong. That was I want my women in my life to be able to make their own decisions about choosing Aladdin, right? I'm not the fucking Sultan of Swing here. I'm not an asshole at hey, everybody look left. Everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight, right? When I give commands, it's because I earned them, right? You're supposed to serve and protect and all that shit. Those vows you take when you join the military shit. And your service vows to serve and protect, right? Well, I'm like King David. So when I give a command, I expect it to be ordered. I don't expect a bunch of pussies to run around and think I'm debating whether or not money's real and whether or not the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer is for real. Really? So you're going to go back to the village and try to take care of my wives and kids, and then the other guy at 250 going to go with me to go get the other women and children back from the Philistines, and then they never going to look at you the same? You do know life is eternal, grace is infinite. Don't go away, senor. Don't go away. Don't go away. I don't know how most of these women look at you other guys and say, you ain't nothing like Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., the Mr. Anonymous Messiah, just North San Ysidro on YouTube. No, you can go to that Euros videos on Loman. I still don't want to have sex with you. I'm just going to close my eyes and pretend you're him. Yeah, that's what I would do from now on, girls. Is just pretend. I'm the world leader. Pretend. You guys, REM, while you're trying to sleep, just pretend he acts like me. Pretend he'll get up and save women and children from being sexually trafficked between the border of United States and Mexico all by himself. Break 5 federal laws in 2 minutes to try to teach Andrew Womack and Pope Benedict and Barack Obama how to protect women from legislation, dictation, and pussyization. And there's not a man with a pair of genitalia. Remember how I used to tell all the guys in Sierra Vista, you ain't got no balls here. Clank, clank, I'll grow more. And I'm having to. They tried to rot mine off with chemicals at the soup kitchens and through topical solutions they put in pharma chemicals. You don't know. They're just I don't blame Aikens. It's not like Buddy Aiken and his dad are like, oh, well, let me check the ingredients, make sure it's not killing my neighbors there and the guys that work for me. Oh, we're being Chinese. How Vladimir Putin annexed us, we can harvest people's organs so we can live forever. Are you sure that guy was, he was a migrant worker farmer? They poisoned him to death. Legally. Well, he doesn't have any legal rights protected by the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court doesn't protect you of legal rights. If your house is next to a cell phone tower and it's the main cause of making cancer cells rapidly reproduce, they're not going to say anything about it because you're not a rich person, and the public utility doesn't keep you and your banking safe. It keeps them and their banking safe, and they're 350 yards away. But they have really good signal. If someone wants to rent the house, we need to decrease per population. We're being very Chinese today. Here's your fortune cookie. Yeah, it's like sex on an Alec Baldwin. It's like Chinese. It's not over till everybody gets their cookie. Right? It's pretty fucked, isn't it? Yeah. Blame Canada, right? Canada and the Baldwins. Aren't they Canadian? I don't know. What about Guess Who? Who's Guess Who? Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing. She looked at me with those big brown eyes and said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Boom, boom. Yeah, you guys had the dream all wrong. Yeah, I'm old and tired. If anyone's going to have to be on top, it's not going to be me. Girls, slow ride. Take it easy. You're going to take it easy on me. It's going to take me about 2 years to recover from the chemical poisoning from all the pussy faces at Fort Bliss. Right, okay. Yeah, no, you hold people accountable. You don't ease up on them. You shouldn't do that and say that. Hey, if your bosses are walking you off a cliff to prove a point, you need to turn around, look them in the eyes, grab them by the balls, make them feel pain, and tell them, I'm a man, yes I am. And even if you have a vagina and you want to save people from being murdered for harvesting for organs for the wealthy, because stem cell therapy stuff, if you use your own organs, they tend to go back to what they were developing to do because of the relativity. So you get somebody who has a, quote, healthier body that's a genetic match. It's from Rape, Murder, Kill. Genghis Khan raped all these women that's what it's from. You're a descendant of William Longshanks. Who raped them out of existence. You're a descendant of them. I wish I was never born. Freddie Mercury. And it doesn't mean they're all bad. It just means they have trouble dealing with the bad. Like Freddie Mercury. That's why me and that young lady like Freddie Mercury so much. Lots of people do. Freddie came to terms with, he wanted to be a rock god. He wanted to be immortalized for trying to be not like the raping murderers of his Persian family. I want to be someone that Queen Esther would like to have as a friend. And then have at her Dash store openings. Mama, ooh, I don't want to die. Sometimes I wish I was never born. Anybody else like Freddie Mercury? I really like Freddie Mercury. But, the war, the sports anthems, We Will Rock You and Another One Bites the Dust. Those are kind of like, I want to fit in songs. I like more of the, my favorite was my favorite's Bohemian Rhapsody, but one of my other favorites is I Gotta Be Cool, Relax, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Anybody else? I Just Can't Handle. Yeah, that was choice. That was pretty cool. Yeah, there was another one that they had that I really particularly liked that I cannot remember. But, does it Send Me Somebody to Love? Send me somebody to love. Can anybody find me somebody to love? Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But, he was an over-the-top kind of drama queen, so he's not like top of my playlist. I'm more of a, me. Tonight Carmen, Marty Robbins, that's more my thing, do my thing, Chapel bells, the lesson of love they tell. Chapel bells, ring sweetly tonight. All is well. Why did those ever go out of style? And why don't people sit there and say, when they do those reactions, they do El Paso and the trilogy, and it's like, what about Chapel's Bell Chime, man? Who's suggesting these? Love's Gone Away? Is there anything left I can say? Just the whole Tonight Carmen album. Oh, God, Tonight Carmen is one of the best songs ever. Tonight I'm aching, my body is shaking. Tonight Carmen's coming back home. Yeah, I thought of just taking these two hands and breaking the body I'm waiting to touch. And we're all like relating. We're dudes like, when she gets moody and bitchy, like, oh shit, what happens? She gets, oh damn, she's taking her clothes off. And we do, okay, let's make up. And All's forgiven. Something tells me for where you're heading for heartache. So, lady, please, please tell me now. When I fulfill your needs, you won't up and leave me. Even though you know I'll let you come back. Because men will die without women. Okay, that's why they invent the possessive pronoun first person God in their head that replaces omniscience with their ego. Okay. I'm the Godhead. I lead the family, woman. Okay, well, lead yourself to peace. She's got a real objective here. She is effectively here because she selects a clear method for all suckers that fall and maul and crawl into the pit of purgatory. I go for glory. This is a good connection. You guys need to connect me to B. Martinez again. She's a real ass kicker. I like her. Okay. I officially really do have a crush on her. Okay. Hope she likes Ella Fitzgerald. I'm just kidding around. I've got a crush on you. I listened to that yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh, that woman is just, she's liquid sensuality. I love her. I got a crush on you, Ella Fitzgerald. If you haven't, you should. Go listen to it. Right? It was lovely, you know. And what was the other one? Well, Stairway to the Stars. That's when she's real young. When she's real young, her voice is just, you know, it's real. Her voice becomes elegant and sustaining the romance eternally as she gets older, right? When she's young, it's like, oh yeah, hi, who are you? I'm Ella. Hi, I'm Earl. Imagination. Willy fucking nilly there. Yeah. Have you ever felt a gentle touch? And then a kiss, and then found it's only your imagination again. Oh well, imagination is crazy. It starts you asking a daisy what to do. Yeah. Anybody's concerned, you know, if anybody concerned out there, I was the fastest human being alive, clocked at Mayfield High School. Yeah, they used to get so mad because I could outrun anybody I wanted to. Yeah. Brown people that were males used to get really upset. Yeah, they used to always, goddamn $75 fucking dollars in the goddamn fucking emergency room, Earl. It's like, yeah, I spent more time in emergency room hospitals in Phoenix. Yeah, it's funny because, you know, when you sit there, you know, they said they're cliquey in this little town for the sports teams. Just like they might be worse than the big cities, man, because the competition is heavier. You get, you know, you're the player of the year in the Arizona Republic and all that shit and everything. And Tired and Hotty's boyfriend comes up and hits you at the park in your knees and shit. Yeah. No. Benji Wilson. I mean, there's how many stories, you know, where there's this guy who's a star on top and he ends up dead and it's like nobody knew who he was. Either that or the other guy was best friends with his sports rival and I hate that motherfucker. Is it that? Yeah. Conspiracy theory. Yeah. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like having to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. Anybody like Lauryn Hill's version? I like it. It's particularly hip hop as opposed to jazzy with the big band jazz with the Frankie Valli there. You know. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, it's my Johnny Hartman version. It's the best I can do. I don't do as good of a. I don't do a real good. Big girls don't cry. I don't do a real good. Frankie Valli. Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna love you? We have a different voice, but I do a much better Tommy Edwards and Clyde McPhatter. I know. Isn't that strange? I can do a pretty decent Clyde McPhatter. Yeah, I guess it's just, it's that affection thing. Like I said, when you can do impersonations, you know, when you have a deep affection towards people, sometimes you can do the impersonations a little bit better. You know, does she love me with all her heart? I can't help it. I got a real affection. But it was my mom's favorite singer when she was a kid. Yeah, it was Clyde McPhatter. Should I worry when we're apart? It's a lover's question. And maybe it's a deep affection for your mother. That's entirely possible. I do have a deep affection for my mom. She's a sweetheart. She's funny. She drove me crazy. Yeah, mom. It's just a guy. Okay, Mom, he's being like that one time she wouldn't give me a ride when I had food poisoning. I drove home. My buddy was going to give me a ride. I drove home. It was hard. You ever drove home with food poisoning? It's hard. You're like, what is it? Yeah. And I got there, she was like, "Mom, could you just come in? I'll pick up the car tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, I'm waiting for Richard Brown to call." It's like, "Mom, you have an answering machine." And she's like, "Oh, but it's like, Mom, if the man's worth anything at all, I'm a man, right? When a man loves a woman, he can't, no, that's an attachment. I'm talking about love. Baby, I was wrong. And I'm sorry I hurt you. But now that we've quarreled, we found out how much it hurts. I bet we never quarrel anymore." Boom, boom. I'm back in baby's arms. I was listening to that last night in the barn. I was like, anybody else love Patsy Cline? And the fact that they use that song for a stupid fucking commercial to get Patsy killed because she has to pay her bills and pay for other people's funerals pisses me off, right? I'm back in baby's arms. How I miss those loving arms. I'm back where I belong, back in baby's arms. So NASA, Fort Bliss, get your shit together. I said, when I say move, you move. When I move, you move. I ain't going nowhere. I'm sitting right here till you get your shit together. Then I'm gonna move. Then you're gonna show up. I'm gonna have an electric car with no electric boots or mohair suits, and then we're not gonna read in a magazine. No, people are just gonna do what's right. Well, I like Paul Davis too, but she's got your eyes and got my nose. Yeah, and I get high just watching her go. And I fully intend on recovering and being physically healthy and physically fit. And I fully intend on having a better romantic sex life from 60 to 80 or 90 than I had from 13 to 60. Well, because you're no longer in my life. You're no longer a virtual presence. And the devil and Satan came down to New Mexico, and they were trying to will and make a deal. No, y'all ain't making no fucking deals. When I say move, you move. I got more pull than Ludacris because I'm not Ludacris, and this isn't it's just remember that with Mike Tyson. It's Ludacris with the what was it, Nestle's Quick with the little chunks. It gets the little chunks in the bottom. Who was the one did that with the impersonation of Mike Tyson? I don't do a real good Mike Tyson. It's funny. His voice, it freaks people out because he's this big guy and he has this voice that's kind of, like they made fun of Patrick Mahomes. His voice sounds real funny. I was like, no, it really doesn't sound that funny. No, it sounds like Patrick. Well, Mahomes, not Patrick Parsons, but Patrick sounds a lot like me. Yeah, he's got kind of his old man's voice. When he was young, he did have a speech impediment, was absolutely adorable. And no, I did not want any speech pathologist to fix it. I wanted it to last as long as possible because nobody sings Kringle Bells like my Kringle Bell singer. No one likes chocolate chip cookies better than my chocolate chip cookie lover. And what's your name again? It's Patrick. No, it's Patrick. Will you stop saying that? Jordan would laugh. What's your name again? It's Patrick. It's Patrick. No, it's Patrick. Will you stop saying that? And I had, okay, Jordan, that's enough. And Jordan, look at me and smile. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, it is. You ask him what his favorite cookie is, and then have him sing his favorite Christmas carol. Okay. Kringle Bell, Kringle Bell, Kringle all way. Oh, what fun is to... I can't find it. Pisses me off, man. What? I gotta go. I'm going too long, but that was cool. Well, I was talking about my son, when I'm talking about times, good morning, yesterday, you wake up and time has slipped away. When I'm talking about something important, I'm not paying attention to the clock. Why? Because this ain't the $100,000 pyramid fucking assholes. Deal or no deal? No. Just do as you're told. Peace.